You'll know when you have a wild woman. She'll practice her craft without boundaries. She is truly autonomous. Her loyalty is only to the family she serves, a midwife who will not allow herself to be held back by a system she didn't create.
This podcast is for the birth keepers who want to grow and change. We are open to learning through self-reflection and supportive community. We are creating this space to explore without judgment. We are remembering we were
Born wild.
Got it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Born Wild podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sophia, and today I have with me Katelyn and sleeping Evelyn. So I don't know if we'll hear from her today, but she's with us. And yeah, I'll just hand it right over to you to introduce yourself, and then we'll dive into your journey.
Hello, everybody. My name is Katelyn. I don't know a little bit about myself. I'm 32, new mom to Evelyn. She is 6 months old, currently asleep on my back in our baby carrier. Nap time worked out perfectly today. Yeah, in my professional life, I manage a gymnastics club and coach gymnastics classes to kids. And, I'm an aspiring stay-at-home mom. And yeah, I just love working with kids. Kids have been a big part of my life as long as I can remember, and always find my way back to working with them in some capacity throughout all of my life transitions. So now I have my very own,
Yeah.
which is really exciting. Yeah, and
It was really fun for us to get to work together because I've known you and your husband for a long time. I was trying to remember how many years we have known each other.
so many. Let's see if we can math this.
You know how I feel about math. I don't do math.
No. Math and mom brains, man, it's hard sometimes, especially because time doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You and I met through Rosie and Brian, that friend group, back when Rosie and Chris were dating.
Yeah. And Chris is your
So,
husband, for people who don't
yeah.
know. So my cousin was dating your husband, and that's how. But I have known him since high school.
Cool. Yeah.
We were in theater together. And then, yeah, I got introduced to you. And so it was really sweet when you two said you were interested in home birth. And
Oh, yeah, we were so excited. Yeah, we're one of those, we're those weird people that stay friends with our exes. And so, yeah, I befriended my husband's ex-girlfriend that he was dating for me and became best friends with her. And she was actually a bridesmaid in our wedding and did my hair. And
love it.
so, it just, the love is there. It doesn't die. It just morphs and evolves. And yeah, that's how I was introduced to the wonderful Williams clan of beautiful ladies that are near and dear to my heart. And yeah, so we knew when we started trying to conceive, we knew that home birthing was a route we wanted to explore, and honestly, because we knew you and watched you go through your whole journey of being a doula to going through your schooling and getting your certification and growing your Sophia birth born wild business, we thought, wow, this would be something we would be really comfortable with doing because we know you. And so I was really thankful for that. And so we very early in our conceiving journey, we were budgeting and putting money away in our baby fund. And I did my research and I was like, okay, how much do we need to save for our investment in Sophia? And so that was like the first thing that we started saving for. It was our little like Sophia fund.
That's cute.
And yeah, so that was something we really looked forward to being able to do was being able to birth at home. And I'm not a big fan of hospitals or doctors when I don't have to be involved with them, just with my own past traumatic experiences. So having the stress-free, relaxed, calm environment of being at home was perfect for us. And I'm so incredibly happy that we did it, that I had a pregnancy where that was something we were able to do health-wise. So yeah, that was I recommend you to every single person I know in the area that's like, oh, I'm thinking about doing a midwife and having a home birth. It's like, check out Sophia. Tell her I sent you.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about your conception journey? I know you had a
Yeah.
long one.
Oh my gosh, so long. It was really tough. We had a really difficult time getting pregnant. I've had issues with not just my fertility, but just like my menstrual cycle, my um, health in that regard for a really long time. And I've had a lot of dismissive doctors tell me there's nothing wrong, or to just take a couple ibuprofen and power through. Didn't see that doctor again. So it was just really hard, and we went through.
Were your cycles irregular, or what was going on?
It shifted. Once I got off birth control, I was in my early 20s, I think, when I decided I didn't want to be on birth control anymore. Chris and I had decided, we weren't engaged yet. We like, okay, we're each other's people. So whether we're engaged, we're married, we're just boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever it is, we're in this, we're committed, we're not going anywhere else. So if I got pregnant earlier than we were planning, we knew we would be fine with it. And that was something. So we thought, okay, I'm going to get off of these artificial hormones because they were just really messing with my health. And so it took my body a long time to regulate after that. And then, we started actively trying to have a baby in my late 20s. I think around 27 was when we were like, okay, we're ready for this. We're ready emotionally, we're ready financially, we're good to go. But it took 4 years of actively trying and like tracking my cycles and doing the basal body temperature taking every day and peeing on ovulation strips and learning how to read those and navigate how those work. It was 4 straight years of that, and it was quite the emotional roller coaster. And then I was able to, after about 3 years, I think it was, I got pregnant for the first time, and then I miscarried a few weeks later, and then I got pregnant again exactly 1 year later, like the same cycle time. I got pregnant in March, was due in December, and then the second pregnancy I got pregnant in March had the same due date.
Wow.
Yeah. And then miscarried at the same time. And that was just awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. So I thought it's never going to happen. I was really depressed for a long time. And then I ended up getting pregnant again. After that second miscarriage, I got pregnant again. It was in July. And then I had my March baby. I had a real complex with the month of March because of those 2 pregnancies prior, where I got pregnant in March and miscarried in April. And so that time of year was really difficult for me. And I had written off that month, and I hate this month. March is horrible. I never want to go through it again. And then I ended up giving birth in March. So I feel like the universe kind of brought it back. And now I have a positive association with, that early springtime, now that that's when Evelyn was born.
Is there anything during your journey of trying to conceive that you felt made a difference for you on like your healing journey, either physically, emotionally, or like supplements you took, or like anything, or did it all just feel like random or divine timing or
Well, those 2 years, I miscarried for the first time in 2020, right after the pandemic started.
Mhm.
It was COVID hit. I was out of work. I got pregnant. So the timeline went COVID hit in mid-March. We thought it was all going to be 2 weeks. We were
Mhm.
like, okay, 2 weeks, and then life is going to go back to normal. But then at the end of those 2 weeks, I found out I was pregnant, and I was really excited. And I thought, hey, if this pandemic extends a couple months, whatever, maybe I'll get to spend my first trimester at home, and that would be so great. But then, the pandemic extended, and then I lost my job, and then I lost my health insurance, and then I miscarried, and it was all within such a short span of time that was really difficult. And then we were out of work for so long.
Mhm.
And we actually, I don't know if Chris will be okay with me saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Uh, Recreational marijuana was where it was at for us. And it was just something that I know that that's such a hot topic. It's such a controversial topic, but for us, it wasn't something like we had any issue with. We live in California, we live in the Bay Area. But honestly, that was the way for us to just kind of decompress and take our stress levels down. And we had so many moments together where we would just like have these like epiphanies,
Mhm.
you know, and we worked through a lot of our trauma of trying to conceive and that any woman who's gone through that journey and been disappointed every time her period hits
Mhm.
understands how like traumatizing that is. And so working through all of that with weed was what was so helpful. It also had some really great effects because I have IBS, and it's literally the only thing that's ever worked for like helping me regulate my IBS.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Mhm.
so that was something that just kind of helped us calm down and not be so high elevated in our emotions and being so reactive all the time. It just was like, it just really mellowed us down so that we could get to a point where we could talk through things and feel calmer about it.
Mhm.
And then when we were ready to stop, we stopped. It wasn't anything like there was no addiction, no,
Addiction, yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
just it
I
was
think more and
there.
more people are seeing it like the medicine it is and not like,
Yeah.
the bad rap that it used to have.
Yeah, exactly. It was so medicinal for us and so healing for us in that way that it was really healing for
Mhm.
us in that journey. And then when we were ready to stop, we stopped. And then when I got pregnant the third time, which is the pregnancy where I had Evelyn, it was just, I'm so thankful it was so healthy. And not that it had anything to do with the weed. I wasn't worried about that or anything. So we had stopped. Um, but it was just so nice that we were able to work through so much of those like emotions that we were holding on to or that were like just really like stuck in us
Mhm.
physically, um, that we were able to let go of that and kind of like detox the negative emotions.
Like an emotional cleanse. Mhm.
Yes, it really helped us go through that emotional cleanse. And then once we went through that emotional cleanse, that was able to like we were able to work through weed. All of that stress went away. All of that emotional stress went away. That I got pregnant again, and then that's the one that stuck.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
had gotten to a point where we were like, okay, if it never happens, it never happens. Having a kid would be absolutely wonderful. We both wanted it so much. but we got to a point where it's like, you know what, if it is just the two of us for the rest of our lives, we are happy with that too. And then of course I got pregnant, and then that one's, and now we're incredibly happy. Yeah, so I think just being able to get through that and that emotional cleanse I think it really helped my body calm down, because I'm an anxious person naturally. So I think that was kind of what did the trick for us.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, what was your pregnancy like?
Oh my goodness. It was horrible at first. That first trimester, I think it was up to about 15 or 16 weeks. I was just horrifically sick. I couldn't keep anything down. Like, I'm talking like 95% of what I ate came back out. And so, being sick that much was really hard. And we had a roommate at that time who would cook these gorgeous meals, absolutely full of nutrition, so healthy, but very strong in smells. And that was really difficult for me, because I would just have these emotional breakdowns and just melt down in my room and just cry because I couldn't handle it. And yeah, eating was really, really hard those first 15 or 16 weeks. But then once I got into my second trimester, it thankfully went away. And I was able to start enjoying food again, enjoying, my morning cup of coffee again, and my little one cup I got to have in the morning with my frothy milk. That was another thing that was really cool. I went from being not able to eat anything to my lactose intolerance went away while I was pregnant. And because with all three of my pregnancies, I had major dairy cravings. And with Evelyn, with that pregnancy, it was just like dairy all the time. I didn't have any of the weird, like, everyone always asked me, do you crave pickles and ice cream? Which I think is so like stereotypical. It's such a stereotype. It's like, no, yes, I like pickles and I like ice cream. And me eating one or the other does not mean it's a pregnancy craving. That's a regular Katelyn preference. No, I do not want to put my pickles in my ice cream. Like all I wanted were grilled cheese sandwiches, Cold Stone, and regular milk mochas. Those were like my top three cravings. And so being able to eat that and having whatever pregnancy miracle magic working that my body did where I could have things like that was really exciting. I haven't been able to eat dairy in a long time. It's been like 10 years.
Wow.
So that was really exciting. Yeah, the people at Cold Stone got to know my husband really well. And so yeah, my second trimester, I felt great. And it was a lot easier for me to do my job once I hit my second trimester. Because like I said, I coach gymnastics and manage the club on the back end, all the administration, all the office stuff, but it made coaching a lot easier. And I was able to, once I hit that stride in my second trimester, I was able to coach with no problem. I was able to still demonstrate things. Like I was really physically active throughout the rest of my pregnancy. Yeah, so being so physically active throughout my pregnancy, I feel like really helped prepare me for giving birth. As that is such a physical task on a person's body. So I was really glad that I was able to keep up with that exercise all throughout my pregnancy. And yeah, I was really grateful and appreciative every day of having such a healthy pregnancy. I mean, I was grateful for being so horrifically sick as much as I was during my first trimester because I was still pregnant.
Yeah.
And so I even appreciated that every time I threw up. And I learned, everyone always says don't travel in your first trimester. And I always thought it was because it's like, oh, you might miscarry because you're traveling. And really, it's like, no, it's because you feel like crap. Flying on a plane across the country when you're 9 weeks pregnant and you can't keep anything down is horrible. I will never do it again, should I ever be pregnant again. Um, yeah, so but like I was even thankful for that. It was like, you know what, I feel like crap, but I'm still pregnant and this baby is growing inside of me. And then yeah, I was just so grateful every single day of my pregnancy. And I did my best to just enjoy every moment, every twinge, every flutter, every little thing, every stretch mark, I kept looking every day. Do I have stretch marks yet? Do I have stretch marks yet? Is that one? Is that an old one? Is that a new one? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was such a beautiful transformation to go through. And I'm really thankful that I was able to do it. And then being able to have that unmedicated home birth it was just everything I wanted.
Yeah.
Like my whole journey was everything I wanted and looked forward to, and I got it. And I was really grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there anything else in your pregnancy to note that was amazing or really challenging, or advice you have for anyone listening?
Challenging. Towards the end, my iron levels kept dropping, which was annoying, but I have iron issues in my normal life, so I wasn't surprised by it, but I was annoyed by all the liquid iron I was taking and then having it not do anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think, if anybody else has issues with their iron levels, I mean, if I get pregnant again, I'm just going to start taking more iron supplements earlier in my pregnancy to hopefully combat that.
Mm-hmm.
That was I think that's my only like other challenge aside from being really sick my first trimester. Oh, look, there's Evelyn.
Hi. Good morning or good afternoon.
Hi, Sophia. Oh my goodness. Look,
One new thing that we've been introduced to that we've been doing with our moms since you has been beef liver capsules. And those have been really great.
I've heard about those. I've recently learned about beef liver.
Mhm.
Our pediatrician recommended when Evelyn starts doing the solid foods to do beef liver because it's such a great source of iron. And I thought, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tuck that away for a little piece of knowledge for me in the future if I need it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'd say that was about my biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
Aside from my work schedule, but my work schedule was, that was unique to me. That wasn't like a physical thing. I was working until 9 or 9:30 at night, which was really hard while being pregnant. But,
Yeah.
I can't really advise on that. That was just my work schedule.
Yeah.
And devices, what did I do for devices? Honestly, a really comfortable place to sit with your feet up. I have a reclining couch.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend. That was my best friend. That and my stability ball,
Yeah.
or a birth ball, depending on what realm you're coming from and what it's called.
So then, cuddles. So then take me into labor and like, how did you know it was labor, the lead up to it, what your labor was like, birth, immediate postpartum, all that juicy stuff.
Oh, yes. So I went into labor on Friday, the 25th of March at 4:30 in the morning. I know I remember these details. We'll see how long I remember them. But yes, I woke up because, as one does when they're so very pregnant, you pee 5 million times in the night.
Mm-hmm.
And like between like 4 and 5 was always one of my times where I woke up to go to the bathroom. And so I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm wet. I was like, oh man, did I pee myself? Like I got through my whole pregnancy without peeing myself. Like, did I finally do it? And then I thought, or maybe did my water break? We're getting really close to the due date. I was about a week out from my due date. So I thought, oh, maybe it's my water. And then I thought, okay, what did the Kelly, the birth,
Childbirth, childbirth.
yeah, the birthing instructor, like the class teacher, it's like, what did Kelly say? It's like, you'll know the difference of if you've peed yourself or if it's your water breaking, if when you move, does it stop? And so I thought, okay, if I move and more comes out, that's my water. If I move and it stops, then I peed myself. And so I went to get up and, wriggle my way out of bed and rolling over the belly. And more came out. And I was like, oh, I think my water broke. It was my water. And I woke my husband up. I woke up Chris. And I was like, I think my water broke. And, he immediately was like panicking. And I was like, no, remember, it's okay. That doesn't mean baby's coming right away. It just means we have to change the sheets. So we, of course, he didn't go back to sleep. I was able to go back to sleep because I was like, okay, cool. Like my water broke. I still got up and went pee. And a bunch more amniotic fluid came out, which I was so excited. I was like, the process has started.
So exciting.
He did not sleep the rest of that night. And so we just waited, and I was like excited every time. I was like, is that a contraction? Is that a contraction? What about this one? And so I was like so excited. And yeah, I went into, so I was on maternity leave at that point, so I didn't have any work, but I get adjusted every week by my chiropractor. And Fridays those are my days. Those are the days I get adjusted. Mm-hmm. And so I kept my appointment with my chiropractor. It was at 2 p.m. And I was still in early labor at that point. And I walked in and they were like, are you in labor yet? I was like, actually, I am. So they were so stoked. So I got adjusted while I was still in early labor, which I would recommend if anybody is able and like capable of able to see their chiropractor while they're in labor. 10 out of 10 recommend. I think that helped me so very much, especially because my issues in general, just because I've really beat my body up through all of my years of athletics. I just have lower back and hip issues in general. And so I was really worried about that with giving birth. I was like, oh my gosh, is it going to cause me a ton of pain? But I also remembered that Kelly, the birth worker, had said, if you are feeling your labor in your back, that means baby's not in the right position yet. So to do the different things to get the baby in the proper position. So getting adjusted was so incredibly helpful. It got everything in alignment. So I really feel like my body was set up for like all the success,
Mm-hmm.
And so I got adjusted. I felt great. I went into active labor. I think it was like 3:30 in the morning. Because active labor is when you're like throwing up and like lots and lots of contractions are going, right?
Yeah, it's usually based on like the frequency of contractions and different things. But yeah, I have written down about 3 a.m.
Yeah, that was when it was like, it was like it was around 3:30 in the morning, where I was on my hands and knees in our bedroom, like hugging my stability ball and barfing into the trash can.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was after like Chris said that I had barfed like 12 times in a row. And he's like, okay, I'm calling Sophia now. He's like, I think it's time.
He's like, I need support.
Yeah, he was like, we learned in the class that when the vomiting begins, that's when it's time to call the midwife. So yeah, that was like in the middle of the night. And then all the rest of that active labor, I was just like stuck on my hands and knees. It was the only position I was comfortable in, going through all of the contractions. And my quads were on fire. And so after all of that journey. You remember I got to the point where I was in the birthing pool, and I was just like, okay, I need, like, baby's not coming out yet. I physically cannot be on my hands and knees any longer. I need to get up, even though this is excruciating. I have to get out of this tub and like stand up for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had been in that position, I had been in that position from like 3 a.m. until about, I want to say like 9:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really long time. It's a really long time to be in one position. And so that was when we got up, because you got there. Chris called you guys around 3:30. You got there around 5. The pool got set up. Water got put in. I got in around 5:30. And then I was in there for about 4 hours before I was like, okay, I got to get up now and move a little bit. And then that was when, after getting out of the tub, you guys dried me off. And then I went and I sat on my stability ball on the next to the edge of my bed and was able to like lean forward and lay my head down on my bed. And I took a nap. It was not like Chris took a nap, because he got to lay down in bed and like sleep. But I was just in this transcendent state the entire time where I was able to sleep and get rest, and it felt great. But I was aware of everything going on around me, even though I was dreaming, even though I was awake. So I remember, I don't know if you remember, but I started talking to you, and you were like, I don't understand what you're saying. And then I realized I was still dreaming, talking to you as if you were in my dream. And then I was like, no, don't pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm still dreaming. What I'm saying to you doesn't make sense in the real world. It only makes sense of what's going on in my dream. You were like, okay.
I will ignore you. Thank you for permission.
You're like, okay. So that was like such a trip to be, I guess, I don't know, was that called like lucid dreaming or something like that? And I've heard of lucid dreaming. That's what it felt like. I know. Which side are we on? We're on left side. Okay.
Milk time.
Yep. And so, yeah, like even that, like it was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful experience to go through labor. And I've said it to other people that have asked me about it. And what was it like? And was it awful? And I was like, yeah, it hurt like hell. But I enjoyed every moment of it. I really, really enjoyed like labor and delivery. It was such a beautiful experience. And I think being able to be in that transcendent state, unmedicated, totally in my body, ready for what was, about to happen. It was just so wonderful. And I'm so thankful that I got to do it. And yeah, it was just, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
And like you can hold the two experiences at the same time, the hurt like hell, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was, very painful, but I'm not a stranger to pain, I've gone through a lot of different kinds of injuries in my life. And so I know how to deal with pain. And I think I'm one of those people, I'm very in tune with my body in general. So being able to be like, okay, and knowing that it's not going to last forever. Like this is, even it hurts like hell. This is temporary and I'll get through it. And I always do. And everything always works out. And at the end of this beautiful experience, I'm going to have a beautiful baby. And it was just, I enjoyed every moment of being in labor. It was absolutely wonderful. And then so getting to nap on my stability ball on the edge of the bed was very helpful. It was restful. It was what I needed to then After that, I got down on my hands and knees on the ground, and you were helping me with my hips and putting pressure on my hips. And then after some time down on the side of my bed on the floor, I was like, okay. I was like, it's time for her to come out. I had envisioned having a night birth. I envisioned everything was going to happen in the calm of the night. It was going to be dark. It was going to be beautiful. And then when the sunlight hit, I was like, okay, I'm over this. I'm ready to be done now. It has been 31 hours and I would like to now. So I was like, I'm going to go. I just remember I couldn't tell for so long if I had to poop or if she was coming down the birth canal.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept thinking, I was like, you know what, if I poop, whatever. And I kept pushing, thinking like, if it's a baby that comes out or if it's a poop that comes out, I don't care, but I need this pressure to be off of my butt.
Yeah.
And it wasn't happening on my hands and knees. And so I remember thinking, you know what, go hit that dilation station and sit on the toilet. I have a squatty potty. It was really uncomfortable. I did not care to be in that position, but I was like, I gotta go try and poop. Like, if this is what it is, I gotta go try and do it. And I would really prefer not to do it on my carpet. It would be much nicer if I did it in my toilet, if I could make that work. And so I went and I sat on the toilet, and I remember that was so painful because it forces your hips, your pelvis into the position it needs to be in to get that baby out. And boy, oh boy, she came out 15 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I was getting so frustrated being in the pool for 4 hours. You guys were bailing water out, adding new warm water in. It's like, why isn't she descending? It's like, oh, she'll come out when she's ready. I was like, but I am ready. Come out, child of mine. It's like, just come down, descend the rest of the way, please.
Yeah.
And so the position that I was most comfortable in did not work for her. I got in the most uncomfortable position for me, sitting on that toilet, and boom, she was like, okay, cool. I made it the rest of the way down. Here's my head.
Yeah. It was so quick.
Oh,
Kicked in. Yeah.
it was so quick. And so I ended up giving birth standing up in my bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was great.
Beautiful. Yeah. And your mother-in-law was in the other room. I remember she just like burst into tears, and it was so sweet.
Yeah, she was so happy to be part of the experience. She really wanted to have a home birth with my brother-in-law, her oldest son, and medically it ended up not being she couldn't. It wasn't safe for her. So she ended up having to have a C-section. And then with her second pregnancy, with my husband and his twin brother, I mean, she's a tiny, petite little woman like me and had two gigantic babies inside of her. And so they ended up doing the C-section again. So she was really, really excited that I wanted to do a home birth, that I wanted to give birth in this house, that I was able to. And she was so supportive of, this was what I wanted for me, and I'm so happy that you get to do it.
Yeah.
And so she kind of lived vicariously through me with that experience. And she was really, really happy to be here and part of it, part of the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, what else do you remember from like the immediate postpartum, like your placenta or anything else that happened after the birth?
Yeah, I remember I really wanted to catch Evelyn, but my belly, the position that I was in birthing her standing up, my belly was too big and I couldn't reach around and like safely hold on to her. I didn't want to, like, my hands couldn't quite reach. So I asked Emma to catch her. And she was right there because, Chris obviously was first choice to catch Evelyn, but he was too terrified.
Yeah.
And so Emma, I was just like, I can't get my hand all the way down there. to be able to push her out and catch her safely. So thankfully Emma did it. And then I remember I sat back down and held her for a while I sat on the toilet. And then you guys helped me over to my bed. It's about I don't know, 5 feet from my bathroom to my bed. And I remember you guys had to help me walk over because I got really faint. And and then Emma had to like bear hug roll me onto the bed because I kind of started to pass out a little bit. And she was like very gently bear hugged me down to make sure I got on the bed.
Yeah, you guys were
And
just
then
kind of like laying on the bed together.
we were like spooning.
Yeah, like jumped onto the bed with you. Like, no, not the floor. You're coming with me.
Yeah, without her, I think I would have ended up half on the bed and half on the floor.
Yeah.
She was like, nope, you're gonna get all the way on the bed.
Yeah.
And then you had my hips with the towel. You were like holding me up, holding my hips up, like kind of wiggle my hips the rest of the way onto the bed.
Yeah.
And I remember like during that process, like a lot of like blood came gushing out and it just was like such a mess. You spent, I don't know how long it really was, but it felt like you scrubbed my floor and bed frame for like an hour with how you came peroxide. You were just like scrub.
I'm very dedicated to the cleanup process.
I mean, you can barely tell. There's like some staining, I think, on our box spring. This is like, yeah.
Memories.
I don't even care. Memories. Yeah, so there is that. And then I just laid in bed for such a long time and it was really wonderful. And then I finally ate, because I remember you guys being like trying to get me to eat, like you should really build your energy. And Emma gave me a little spoonful of honey and I was like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted. Like, get away from me. I do not want food. But then once I was like, Evelyn was out, we were on my bed, she was on my chest. I was like, okay, now I can entertain the idea of food. And Emma or you, one of you got me some banana bread that my mother-in-law had made and put butter on it. And Chris and I, it changed our lives. We've been eating this banana bread forever, for years and years and years, and we've never thought to put butter on it. And so that was like magical. I had that, and then I had some like yogurt and strawberries. I remember eating strawberries, and Chris was just like feeding me while I was lying down, and it was so nice. And then at one point, once my placenta was ready to come out, I remember I was on my hands and knees on the bed, looking down at Evelyn and thinking like, wow, this thing feels huge. And then it came out and I was like, oh, it won't be very big. Like, it'll just be like a little plop. And then it was just like, oh my God, it's still coming out of me. And then looking at it, I was like, holy crap, that thing is huge. It was so big.
Yeah, it's substantial.
Yeah,
I still remember
so cool.
you in that position pushing the placenta out, because I had taken a picture of you looking down at her, and it was just such a sweet moment.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that in my head, that picture. I'm so glad you guys took pictures. They're the best. They're the best. They're the absolute best to be able to go back and look on. For those first couple of months of Evelyn's life, Chris and I would go back like I think once a week and look through the birth album and just look and be like, wow, I can't believe it's been a week. Wow, I can't believe it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And now Evelyn's eating my desk. Yeah, so that was just, it was wonderful. And yeah, and then you guys had said, that adage of, the placenta was attached to you inside of your body. So now that it's not there, think about how big your placenta is that was attached. So now that is, like a wound that needs to heal. And that empty space needs to, reform itself because there's no placenta attached there anymore. It's gotta revert back to regular. And so to take it easy, so I really took that to heart, and Chris really took that to heart. He would not let me do anything. You were like, stay in bed for a week, and he made me stay in bed for like 3 weeks. And I was like, I just want to go like sit on the couch. It was like 2.5 weeks postpartum. I was like, I need to not sit in my bed anymore. I need to walk a little bit to my couch. And I remember Chris like asked you, like hit you up and was like, is it okay if she walks from the bed to the couch?
Yeah.
But because I live in a modified split level, there are stairs everywhere. And so you had said not to do stairs. So I had to like convert all of my bathroom stuff into Chris's downstairs bathroom because he would not let me. He would not let me go up the stairs. Even the 4 steps up to the kitchen, I think it was like a month postpartum before he like was okay with me going and getting a snack for myself or filling up my water myself. He is such a wonderful, supportive husband, father, partner. He really doted on me, and he was happy to do so. He was like, I want to be involved. I'm ready. Like, don't you dare get up. Like, I will go get it for you. And so it was really beautiful.
Yeah, because it benefits you in the short term, but it also benefits you, your pelvic floor, the health of your pelvic floor for the rest of your life. So yeah, I'm so glad he took care of you.
Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful. And yeah, being able to go like out to my living room, to my couch was really nice. I needed the break from just being in my bed. And because newborns, they sleep so much. Evelyn was doing 4-hour chunks, and then she'd eat and then she'd go back to sleep, as newborns do. And so we watched a lot of television. I watched the entire series of 30 Rock. I got through like half of it on my laptop in bed those first 2 weeks. And then once I was able to go out to the living room comfortably, I watched the rest of that series. And that was like what we did when Evelyn was very first born. But we would eat, we would sleep, we'd watch 30 Rock, I'd nurse her, she'd nap. And we were just, it was just wonderful to be home, have my family at home. And my mom, my parents came to visit 2 weeks postpartum. So my mom was here for 2 weeks to help out and visit. And so that was really nice to just like, she would lay in bed with us, or she would sit on the couch with us, and she made us, some meals, and that was really nice. Yeah, I had a really supportive postpartum community, between my husband, my mother-in-law, my mom, like my dad and stepmom, who live just one town over, were over whenever. They were like, we'll come over whenever you let us know when you're ready, and we'll come over. And so oh wow.
Wiggling.
Got little flaily baby arms over here.
Yeah, I'm glad you felt so supported postpartum, because that can be one time frame where people feel like everybody dotes on you in pregnancy and it's all the rage, and then things can fall away and you can feel really lonely postpartum. So I'm glad your experience was not that.
Me too. It was really nice because my chiropractor's husband is also her front office person. And while my chiropractor's been a friend of mine for so long, but her husband, would ask me regularly, and he would ask this to all of their pregnant patients. He would say, do you have enough support at home? Like, do you have enough support at home in your personal life? Like, how are you feeling? And I was like, that's so incredibly thoughtful.
Yeah.
Because I knew that if I had said no, he would have gotten me some resources. He would have been there. They would have been there to make sure that I felt supported. But I was like, wow, what a thoughtful thing. Because a lot of people don't think to ask that. And so I thought, wow, how beautiful is that? And so I was really grateful to be able to say, yes, I have enough support at home and I'm good to go. So yeah, I'm very pleased. I've had such a wonderful experience, pregnancy, labor and delivery, postpartum, and I've gotten to spend a lot of time home. I took 6 months off. I didn't, I mean, I had my paid maternity leave through the state. I didn't have a paid maternity leave through work. But I had a boss I was like, I'm going to take 6 months. And she was like, okay. There was no pushback. There was no, you have to be back by this time. It was okay. We'll see you when you come back.
Yeah. So great. Yeah.
And so many people don't have that.
I want to say it was some point postpartum, you had said to me, I think when we were reflecting on your birth, you said something along the lines of, it was like just as hard as you thought it was going to be. That maybe there was an hour where you're like, oh God, this is harder than I thought. But then like she came, but that you had just had an expectation that it was going to be really hard and had like set your mind up that way. So it didn't really there wasn't anything that was really shocking, which is really great for a first time mom to be able to say that, that it was totally manageable.
Yes. Yeah. Everyone kept asking me how it was. And yeah, manageable was the word that I used. It's like, it was hard. It was painful, but it was easy. It was completely manageable. I thought it was going to be like this. I mean, you hear the horror. Everybody always shares the horror stories. And it's like, why are you telling me all these horrible things that happened to you or this person So it's like, I'm not gonna manifest that. That's not gonna be my story. So I was expecting it to be a lot harder, but it was like, nope, it was totally manageable. I think it was also because I kept setting myself up for like, my body is built to do this. I am capable. I am strong. Regardless of the fact that I was exercising throughout, even if I hadn't been doing that, I was just like, you know what, I've got this. Like my body knows what to do. And my body did know what to do. And it was totally manageable. And yeah, just that last part. And like you had said, and like the birthing class teacher had said, when you get to that point where you feel like, I can't do this anymore, that's when the baby's coming. And so I knew once I got to that point where I was like, I am over this. I was like, okay, that means she should really soon.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey with us and with everyone listening.
Yes, for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening. You can find us at Born Wild Podcast on Instagram. For inquiries or feedback, you can email us at bornwildpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me, Emma Ray, on Instagram at Emma Ray, REA. Sophia at sophiabirth.com.
And me, Leah, at Bay Area Home Birth.
We would really appreciate it if you would rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps us reach more people. And as always, stay wild.